Hello, this is a video on how to play President. Now, President is a very fun game, and it can also be played with a lot of players. Now, uh, we'll get into the rules, and it is a bit complicated in that it depends a lot on knowing a lot of rules. Um, and it could also be called some other terms, but most commonly it's called president. And it originated in Japan, and there are variations, but we're going over the basic game. Now, in president, you need a 52 card deck. Now, this is just a regular standard deck, and it's played with 4 to 7 players. You could try playing with less players, but it doesn't really play smoothly because certain aspects of the game do go better with the more players you have. And it's actually not even 4 to 7 players. You can actually play with more than 7 players. You just need a second deck. So let's say you have an eighth person, grab another 52 cards. You have 104 cards, and then you can play. There's no limit on it. Now, you start off the game by just dealing every card to each player in a circle. So let's say you have 5 players in a circle, you pass 1 card to each player at a time until all the cards have been dealt. If certain players end up with extra cards, which will probably happen, then that's fine. It's just a little extra card disadvantage that they have to play with. There's nothing in the game about getting rid of that card or anything like that. They have to play with it. Now, the objective of president. So, the objective of president is to be the first player to get rid of every card in your hand. And so, let's start up a game here. We'll start with 5 players, and you'll see. Now, first thing you also see is the game. The player who has the 3 of clubs plays first, and so. Since I have the 3 of clubs, it does say it's my turn, and we'll get to that. But the objective of the game is to be the first player to get rid of all the cards in your hand. And so obviously the more players you have, the less cards each player will have in their hand. If you have 52 cards and 7 players, that's 52 divided by 7 versus 52 cards and 4 players, that is 54 divided by 4. So naturally, the more players you have, the less cards each player will have. Um, and so you want to get rid of all of your cards. And so the way this works is that the first player who gets rid of all of their cards is the winner of the round, and they are called the president. The second player to get rid of all of his or her cards is considered the vice president. And so how are cards ranked? The highest is ace, the lowest is 3, and 2s are special cards in that if you play a 2, it clears the pile in the middle. And you'll understand what we're talking about in a minute here. So it goes from lowest to highest. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. The jokers aren't used, although they might be used in some other variations of the game. And obviously the 2s, once again, are clear cards. So if you place it in the middle, the pile is cleared. And so the first round is started by the player with the 3 of clubs. So it's my turn, and I play the 3 of clubs in the middle. And notice how everybody's playing a card that now if you caught that, everybody else was playing a card that either matched the card in the middle in terms of rank or number, or was higher. Now, essentially, I mean, there are a couple of other more complex rules, but we won't really touch on them in this video because this is more of a basic video. But essentially, you want to get rid of all of your cards first. Now, there's a 4 in the middle here. Let's say I had cards that were only lower. Then I'd have to pass because I can't play any card. Even if you can play a card, you are still allowed to pass, but it's up to you. But if you do not have a card that is of equal value or higher than the card in the middle, then you are forced to pass. Now, what does this mean? Well, depending on, I guess, how you feel about playing your strategy, maybe if you want to save a card, you pass rather than playing it. Could be worthwhile. However, in most scenarios, you would want to play a card in the middle regardless. Now, and so you'd want to typically play a card if you can. Now, the play is pretty simple. I think you guys get the idea. You play a card of equal value or higher in the middle, trying to get rid of all of your cards. Twos are wild cards and they can be played at any time. And if you cannot match the card in the middle or play a card higher, you have to pass. Now, there is one more special set of rules that is quite important. A pair of cards beats any single card. If I have an ace in the middle and I have, oh, this is an example. So if there's an ace in the middle, I have two eights here. That is a pair of cards. So it beats the ace. It is considered higher value and I can play it on top. Now, you might be saying, okay, is that it? Well, if a pair of cards is played in the middle, then you are allowed to play 3 cards of the same number to beat that pair of cards. So let's say I played these two eights. Player south, or I think I'm actually player east. I'm player east. So player south would have to play. If I play these two eights, player south would have to play 3 cards of a kind. 3 cards of the same number in the middle. And if somebody plays 3 cards of the same rank in the middle, then the next player has to play 3 cards of the same rank of a higher number. So let's just highlight this scenario once again. That might be a little bit confusing. There's an ace in the middle. I can play 2 eights to beat it. The next player can play 3 threes to beat my 2 eights. Now it is up to the player after that to either play 3 threes or 3 of a higher card. So 3 tens, 3 jacks, etc. Once you get to 3 cards in a row, then it becomes like regular president. You have to either match it or play 3 cards of a higher rank. Now, let's say you have 4 of the same card. Now, so either there's 2 scenarios. There's 4 cards of each number in a deck. If one player has all 4 cards, they can play all 4 in the middle at any time. It's the most powerful, and it clears the deck, so it's like a 2. Or if a player is playing, let's say there's 3, so I play a 4, South plays a 4, West plays a 4. The North can just come in and drop another the fourth 4, and the deck will be cleared. So that's essentially it. You play a card of either equal or higher value, and you want to try to clear the cards in the middle. And so let's just do a quick demo of the game now. So there's a 4 in the middle. I'm going to play a 5 because that is higher. So they played a king. I could play either a king or an ace. I'm going to choose my king. So he played an ace. Now I can play an ace, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And in this variation, I think they have jokers, and in games where you do have the joker, it acts as sort of a clear card. It's like a 2. You can play it, and it'll clear the deck. And so I'm going to play a card of equal value. I'm going to play my 7. See, he had to pass there. I'm going to play my 10. And so we are getting rid of cards here in an efficient manner. I'm going to pass here. Now, I don't know if this lets me, and I guess this version doesn't, but if you're playing in real life, you pick up a pair and you place it in. And so you actually can indeed play a pair. I'm just having trouble finding a way to do it, so I'll be right back. And so it seems like with my current control scheme, I'm unable to play the pair, but in a real life scenario, the pair would beat the queen. And so you might be wondering what happened to the card in the middle. Well, all players passed. And if all players pass, and it goes back to the original player who passed, so if every player in the circle passes, the card in the middle, the deck in the middle is cleared, and a new deck starts. In this case, we have to pass again because this isn't letting us play the pairs. And so that player played a joker. Now this is a three of a kind. A three of a kind can only be beat by with a three of a kind of a higher value. And so there is no way we can beat this because we don't even have a three of the kind, and let alone if we had three of the same cards, they would not. It'd be unlikely that they'd be higher than three jacks. Now here we have two nines, and we do have a pair here, but we can't play it either way because the controls aren't working. But even if we wanted to, we could not because the two nines in the middle are higher than the two. I mean, sorry, we don't have a three of a kind, and so we need a 3/8 to beat these two nines. So we have to pass again. Okay, we pass now. Northwest became the president. This is because they got rid of all their cards first, and so now we are given the option to play a pair. When there is a pair in the middle and we want to complete the four of a kind. Remember how I said if you want to complete the four of a kind, you can do so. And so we'll go ahead and do that. Now that player just played a pair of sixes, and we cannot beat that because we don't have a three of a kind. Now North is the vice president. Now how this works is that the president gets 2 points and the vice president gets 1 point, and the rest of the players get no points in that round. And you typically play first to 11 points. So this player has 2 points. If you won president uh, 5 more times, he would have 12 points. So he would have an extra point and he'd be the winner. Or if you won president 4 more times and then he won vice president 1 time, because you get 2 points for president and 1 point for vice president, then he would also be fine as well. And so now we're just playing for third place, and I'm the secretary, and then you have the loser and the vice loser. And so obviously, I mean, this happens, and so now you start a new round after that. And the vice president or the president, they get to pick the highest card from another player, sort of an advantage of winning president. And so we had to give, and they get to swap one of their cards with us. And so that's pretty much it. Um, it wasn't letting us play pairs properly here, which is unfortunate. But that's pretty much the gist of the game. You just want to be the first player to get rid of all of your cards by matching the card in the middle or by playing a higher rank. Or you could play a pair. Any pair of any value beats a single. Any three of a kind beats a pair. And to beat a three of a kind, you need a higher value three of a kind. And a four of a kind can be played at any time, even when it's not your turn, and it is the most powerful hand in the game. Two is the most powerful card. It can be played at any time, provided it is your turn. And in some variations, jokers are also wild cards like twos, and they can be played to discard the deck in the middle. But that's essentially the basic gist of President. You just want to get rid of all your cards. And so I hope this was helpful and beneficial for you guys. And so thank you guys.